What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New York rapper, singer, producer, and artist RaFia. We spoke about the legacy of Michael K. Williams, the White Lotus, our mutual love of Imax and children's movies, growing up with a filmmaker father, the importance of post-production sound effects, how her college career as an artist transitioned into taking music seriously, having an art piece broadcast on billboards in Times Square, and a handful of her various projects and singles. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Real Notes. I think the numbers don't matter anymore. I'm tired of trying to remember them. You'll see them. I'm pretty sure that it's like mid to late 20s. I think this is number 27. Let's just call it 27.
Wow.
My name is Dylan CineMasai. I got names. I do things. It's raining. I got a cookie behind me. I'm gonna eat later. It's gonna be tight. I do a lot of shit like eat cookies and podcast. And the person that I'm sitting here with also does a lot of things. They've been moving around a whole bunch, making music and art, especially music a lot over the course of these last couple of years. We're both Purchase College alums, and fucking just a whole, like I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. We got RaFia on here.
Hi.
In the place to be. What's cracking? Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. Like, this feels like it's been a long time coming, honestly.
It's been a long time coming. I love running into you. Like, I always run into you like at the randomest time. Like, remember that time I saw you in like Manhattan?
Yeah, it was on Broadway. Like, I forget what show it was.
Times Square.
Yeah, like I ran into you like I saw you walking past like a stage. I forget what show it was, but it was like a stage. And I was like, that's RaFia. Like,
Yeah.
You're not hard to miss.
Like, something, and I don't know why I was like by myself like that day. Because I remember like number one, I was in Times Square a lot. That was like 2019 where I had my work in Times Square.
Yeah, something like that.
I remember like after that, I went to see one of those shows. I saw Frozen on Broadway. Like right after that ended, right after the Times Square like exhibition ended. I was like, I don't know, my mom or my aunt or something got like tickets to see. I don't know if that was the same day, but it was some day that I was up there and I ran into you. But it was like...
Nah, yeah, it's always a pleasure. I love it, and like, and I just realized I said earlier that you're not hard to miss. I mean, you're extremely hard to miss. Like, it's so easy. Like I feel like you and I are in common that because everybody always tells me like, oh, it's like, like I know it's Dylan. It's like I know it's RaFia. Like you're just there, like
literally.
But yo, like you've been so hard at work over these last couple of years, and I'm just like happy to have you on here to just like bullshit.
That's what they say.
Like,
that's what they
I mean, like, go check your Bandcamp and your fucking like all the shows you were on a billboard in Times Square.
I've just been having a lot of fun. I've just been like, it's I guess I have been working. It's just like I just think of it all as like homework. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm always like, oh, I got to work on the next thing. We're gonna just like you've been busy. I'm like, that's what I gotta do. That's
yeah,
that's what I gotta do.
Nah, I feel that.
It just feels like life.
Yeah, nah, that's too real. I want to talk about all of that, but before I get started, the way I usually do. We got to talk about this Michael K. Williams thing because the fact that Michael K. Williams passed away still really fucked me up. Like I've been thinking about him a lot for the past couple days. Just like, like I feel like I said this on Twitter, like everybody knows him as Omar from The Wire, but like the amount of things that he did over the course of his career and just like the roles he was able to play and just like the things he did for people. And like the fact that he started out as like a backup dancer. Like
I had no idea. Okay, full disclosure, I actually have seen none of the shows that this man was on. Like I saw the whole list of shows that he's on. It was all stuff that I had not seen. I had not watched The Wire yet. But like that, like literally, and this has been a thing like in this past couple of months, I'm learning a lot about people and their death. And that's really interesting too. So I'm like, I had no idea that he was a dancer. Like I've seen his face obviously, but I didn't watch Lovecraft Country. I didn't watch it. I was just like, I wasn't in the mood to, myself But I'm definitely learning a lot about people and their death and like the amazing things that they've done for people and how like everybody in Brooklyn was like he never forgot them. He was always coming back and he was always doing stuff for the kids. And I was like, that's just that's such a great energy. And it's like, it's so sorry that the energy is gone, well, the energy isn't gone, but it's like, the person like who is putting that forth is gone. Now we have to like remember that and like, do the work to keep that energy, in ourselves. And that's a lot. I'm learning a lot about that.
Yeah, he's not the vessel for it anymore. And it's weird to think about that. Like he's just, because there've been a handful of things that I've been thinking about with him. Like he was in a Todd Solondz movie that I'm not really a big fan of, but like his performance in it is so good. That like it's Life During Wartime. It's the movie that's like a kind of sort of sequel, or it's not a kind of sort of sequel. It's a direct sequel to the movie Happiness, but but the entire cast was recast. Like every single character is played by a new actor, and Michael K. Williams was this like, he was this dude who was like, he just like stayed at home and like stock phone called people, and he just did a really great job of bringing this dude's personality to the screen. Like I don't know, just like seeing him go from like Omar from The Wire to like that creepy dude who calls you on Star 69 is like really crazy to me. It's like,
okay, so you think I should watch The Wire first and then after that watch this weird movie?
It depends on how much you want your life to get fucked up. I like, as much as I love Todd Solondz, I don't really know that I could ever like recommend watching his movies to anyone who's not like actively prepared to walk out like hating the world. You know
what?
Like,
It's been a while since I've watched a movie like that. I always think about that with Requiem for a Dream. I'm just like, well, nothing gets better, and it just gets. It's been a minute, since I've watched the movie that made me hate stuff in a while. Because I like to watch, I like to watch nice movies. At this point, I'll be watching kids movies a lot too.
I mean, like that's great. Them
kids movies be fucked up too, though. Them kids movies be fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Like yeah, like I've been thinking about The Secret of Nim a lot too, and like that movie is extremely fucked up. Like the fucking like mouse and the family living in the trees and shit. Like, just
I don't know nothing about this, but I'm looking it up.
Nah, it's like that.
1982. No, I gotta okay, so I gotta watch that.
Nah, yeah, please go watch The Secret of Nim. It's like it's just like really violent for a kids movie, and it's Don Bluth, the guy who made like An American Tale and all that stuff. So just like really,
1982, really... yeah, it's gonna be fucked up.
Yeah. But yeah, like Michael K. Williams just did a whole bunch of like, he was just like supporting player and like a bit player and a bunch of things. I think he was in the new RoboCop. He was in 12 Years a Slave. He was in Gone Baby Gone. Holy shit. Wow.
I did see 12 Years a Slave. That I did see, but I watched it once and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I saw
it in theaters actually, and that was interesting.
What was
I was like with a black person, but it was like we were definitely like up in like 14th Street, and it was like a very like white audience. It was weird, but so I watched the movie, sure, but I was like I haven't watched it again.
Right. Nah, I get that, and I almost hate to bring this up, but I forgot that one of the earliest places I saw Michael K. Williams was as the police officer James in R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet. Like,
oh my god,
that was the first time I ever saw him. Yeah.
Wow. Like I've obviously seen that, but I have not seen it in a long time, and now I'm not even gonna run it back for the stream. I might have to go like screenshot thing and go
right. And oh wow, he was in Belly. Sorry.
He was in Belly.
Sorry, no. He was in Belly 2. A, I didn't know they made a Belly 2. B, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that.
No, there was literally nothing that I was saying. I would think I was about to trail off into some very strange story that I don't need to bring up. So, so that was right on
time. But yeah, like I just really felt the need to talk about him because he was somebody who's always kind of been. he's always been on the periphery of like me as a movie watcher. He was fucking Carmelo Jones in the Purge Anarchy too. This nigga's done so many fucking things.
Wow.
I really loved him, and just like seeing his face around, and like he was also like extremely charitable. Like he would always show up to like charity events, and he was just he was just a good egg. For years I thought he was from Newark. I don't know why I thought he was from Newark. But like
Newark energy.
I just like it was just like in my head, because like I live like like Newark is like in my neck of the woods, so like I was like, oh, he's from, I was like, oh, like I always call everybody from Jersey Jersey's finest, because that's just how I do it. But like this whole time, like I think I tweeted it like the day he passed, I was like, not Newark's finest, and then I looked it up, I'm like, oh, he's from Brooklyn, never mind. Like, not that makes him any lesser, but like it's like he's definitely not from Jersey.
No, that's funny. That's a funny mistake.
But nah, like shout out to Michael K. Williams, rest in peace, rest in power, all that stuff. I'm just really fucking sad, man. Wow, like, and just to know that like everything that he was like, he developed the drug habit that ultimately wound up taking his life, like on The Wire, like being Omar.
Really?
That was like that's where he like first started messing with drugs, and he
shit.
As far as the story goes, like I don't know if this is like 100% true or not, but the initial report was that he OD'd off of fentanyl, like a lot of other people have been doing. So like
that shit's fucked up.
And
it's fucked up. Like they're saying that, like, even a lot of the dealers don't even know that it's in there until like people start dying off of their shit. And I'm just like,
right.
I'm just like, even it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary, awful cycle, and I'm sorry that it took another person.
Test your drugs.
Please, like the fucking strips are available places. Like test your drugs. If you're gonna partake, please test your drugs. Oh shit, he was in The Incredible Hulk. He was an extra.
One?
The Edward Norton one. He's Harlem Bystander.
I like that one.
No way.
Harlem Bystander.
That's wow.
That's hilarious.
I didn't know. Okay, I guess I gotta go watch The Incredible Hulk again.
I'll go watch that again. I like that one.
I'm just mad.
Have it, like on bootleg DVD in the house somewhere. I don't know.
Well, find it and watch it. That's hilarious. I gotta go find this and watch for Harlem Bystander, Michael K. Williams. That's amazing.
When he comes like this, oh, there you go.
Yeah, just like the one shot where he's like looking off and it's just like, like, hilarious. Well, shout out to and rest in power to Michael K. Williams. He was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start this off by asking you the same question I asked everybody. What's the last movie or TV show that you watched that you have a strong opinion about?
Well, the most very recent thing that I've been watching is Adventure Time, because I watched that when it came out, and I never watched it straight through. Like at some point I just like stopped watching it. I really liked the short, that came out way back when, and then like I just kind of fell off. So now I'm just like getting back into it. It's cool. It's interesting watching it. Like, so I watched White Lotus just to see what people on Twitter were talking about, and I was just like, okay, it's like cool watching these like white people act white. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I got a little bit of excitement. It didn't make me think really. I was just like, all right, they're literally like filming in Hawaii right now, like with this, and everybody. I had no opinions on the show. I don't know, like. All of the things and the the how they roll back the episode, which I do like. I enjoy that about HBO. But they were just like, oh, this is gonna like, cause conversation and do that. And I was like, man, please, I don't know. I don't got nothing, I don't got nothing to talk about. That's just what y'all be doing. So yeah, like I'm trying to think of anything that I watched before that I had strong opinion. Oh, here's something I have a strong opinion about. I did watch Better Call Saul, because I put that off for so long because I was just like, I just need a break from that like Breaking Bad shit. And then what got me back in it was like I was on Netflix, and the other show with Aaron Paul was like
El Camino.
Yeah. So I was like, let me click this, and it was just like so dark and like gloomy, and like, and I was just like, it was just like wasn't my vibe. So I was like, And then after clicking that, Better Call Saul came up, and everybody had been telling me how good this show was. And so I was like, okay, let me put it on. And then, like, I immediately was hooked. I like just watched all of it, and it was so good. And I hope Bob Odenkirk is doing okay. Like, as soon as I started watching it, it was like, oh, he collapsed on set, and I was like, bro, what the fuck?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
Nah,
I wasn't ready to
tuna.
lose him.
Right. Yeah. So it's a lot of shit going on in his past year and a half. But so I watched all of that show, and that was really, entertaining and really interesting. I don't know what movies I've seen recently. I've been watching like random movies, random kids movies, because I'm like always hanging out with my nephew, and like he always likes to put a movie on and like rewind it a bunch of times.
As kids do.
That's what they like. We didn't. I mean, sure, we rewound the tape, you know what I'm saying? But like they just have it, so they just press like back like 15 seconds, and we in the replay culture. It's very interesting. I don't mind, but
you know what's crazy? You just unlocked a really deep memory in my brain. When I first got Tivo, like when Tivo was like a new thing.
Yeah.
Like there was a you remember the episode of SpongeBob where they run away from Bikini Bottom and they have like the chocolate bars that are supposed to like last them the whole trip, and like Patrick is just like, he's like, thanks SpongeBob, I think I'll eat it now, and then he eats it, and then he like has the brain whatever, he's like, I think I'll eat it now, like, and then he bites his hand. I used to always rewind that part, so he was just like infinitely like it lined up perfectly to the point where he was just infinitely eating the bar of chocolate.
That's so
and
funny.
I think I must have did that like 70 or 80 times just because I thought it was the funniest shit on the face of the earth.
He was making a GIF on Tivo.
Honestly, yeah. Wow, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, nah, like.
That's funny. We making loops on Tivo.
You already know, man. Like this is it's what we're here for.
Next level.
So if you can't necessarily remember like the last like movie you watched, like can you remember like the first movie experience you remember having, whether that was at like a theater or at like your cousin's house or like at like a Best Buy on like a TV screen? Like,
yo, okay, so I remember like one of my first movie experiences was seeing like in IMAX. Oh, hold on, I'm eating this like vitamin C and I realized that this is audio and I'm like literally all right, so hold on.
No, you're doing okay. I can't hear any like chewing or anything or like.
Well, let me get it over with before I start talking.
No, you're all good.
I'm also gonna look for this movie because it was like the IMAX like underwater 3D experience. Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. I feel like there's a bunch of those, but I think I know the one you're talking about.
Whatever one in the 90s, underwater 1990s. I'm gonna search it real quick. The Living Sea. I think that's what I don't know. It's either blue under something. The Living Sea, short 1995. So I think I saw that on my birthday. 1995. That's like my first movie experience. I think that's like the first one that I remember because it was the IMAX theater is humongous. I was very small, and we had those 3D glasses, whatever the 3D glasses were in 1995. Let me look, because they were a whole lot different then.
Right, and everything felt bigger back then too, for obvious reasons.
Right. Deep Sea 3D. Maybe that was it. Oh my God, I'm looking. These glasses are like humongous. This is so funny. So that was like the 90s 3D glasses.
That's incredible.
I just remember that was so cool. Cause, as a little like tiny kid, you're like seeing all this stuff flying out the screen. Like that was mind blowing. The fuck? That's when 3D was like popping. Now 3D, they kind of like chill on the stuff. They just like 3D, but back then it was very like, let's just put everything.
Right. Yeah. Like especially like Hollywood was really obsessed with 3D for like a decade. And now, like, remember how like there were so many real 3D theaters, like everywhere for like a decade, and now they're just like aren't anymore. And I'm happy with that because they kind of like overdid it. But like IMAX 3D is always something different. Like
Word.
I think the first one I ever saw was this like Galapagos movie. It was either at the Liberty
Ooh.
Science Center or somewhere in DC maybe. Like,
Ooh.
and there's a bit like halfway through when they're throwing a rope down a hole, and like the camera is in the hole and the rope comes at the camera lens like on some like the train is coming at the thing in the Thomas Edison movie. Like, and
Wow.
I remember being like terrified, like ah, like I was I don't remember how old I was, but like I was old enough to be scared by a fucking
Right.
getting whacked in the eye by a
Oh my
not
God.
real rope.
No, you know what always scares me though at the beginning of the movie when they're doing like the, turn your phone off, that whole like thing, they have the like giant popcorn and fucking pops. I always hate that. Like, no, I think they changed it recently. Like the last, like it was less loud. I think somebody must have complained or something, or they did something with it.
We both love IMAX movies. Shout out to IMAX forever and ever. But for you, like as you got older and started to experience more like movies and more life in general, like was there a specific movie that made you fall in love with movies as more than just like entertainment? Like that moment where you stopped and were like, this is art that I'm watching right now, or like something that kind of works on a more complicated emotional level, if that makes sense.
Well, I grew up watching a lot of movies because my dad's a documentary filmmaker, and we were always watching like. So it was like I've always seen like really cool artsy movies. I'll name a favorite movie of mine, but it like definitely wasn't the first movie where I like considered it art. Like I've seen many movies, but there was like one that my brother took me to see, The Science of Sleep. You know that
Mm,
movie? That movie's so
classic.
cute.
I do. Yeah.
I saw that in theaters, you know what I'm saying? So that was like it was really fun. I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I had a lot of fun watching that movie.
The only thing I remember about that movie is the dream sequence where they're riding the fucking plush horse. That's all I
Yeah.
remember.
I remember
Like,
this part with the cellophane, like the cellophane was water or something like that. I just remember that part.
yeah, you like that because that was that's Michel Gondry, who I'm a really big fan of. He
Mm.
also made you ever see Be Kind Rewind, the Jack Black Most Def movie?
Oh, I heard of it. I've actually never seen it.
It's really cute. It's actually one of my favorites. I haven't seen it in years, but it's just a really really cute movie. Like same aesthetic, kind of like Twee in the same way, but about different shit. But nah, The Science of Sleep is it's an interesting movie. I remember enjoying it for what it's worth.
It was mad fun. It was like really cute, really sweet. All the French movies were always like really cute to me. Like at that time, like whenever
Yeah,
what year did that come out? Like 2007? I don't know.
yeah, it must have been
I,
like late 2000s. I don't remember the year.
yeah.
Let's
I
see
was just
actually.
looking at my Wi-Fi list, and right under my Wi-Fi, which is Black Power, there's a Twink. I'm like, who's Twink? Maybe my next door neighbor. Somebody
That's
else has stopped trying to get in my Wi-Fi. That's funny.
so this shit is called Twink. I got maybe like a week and a half ago. I ordered some fried Twinkies from a place, and the receipt listed them as like fried Twinks, and I was like, hey, I got some
Love
fried
it.
Twinks.
Right.
Like who wants
Period.
who wants fried Twinks?
Who wants one? How many did you get? How many were in there?
Oh, it must have been like four, but they were like really
Four.
big Twinks. They
Yeah.
were really big Twinks.
I bet. I've never had a fried Twinkie.
They're really
I
good.
was never really a big Twinkie fan, to be honest. That wasn't my bag.
I feel it.
I liked
They're
other
um
things.
they're good with ice cream. They're good with ice cream. I like them.
I like pound cake. Like if I'm gonna do that, I like pound cake with ice cream.
You can't really go wrong with pound cake and ice cream. It's kind of like it's like a staple. It's definitely a staple. Um, were there any other movies you could think of that kind of like it doesn't even necessarily have to be like an independent or an art film, like like was there just like any moment where like movies kind of connected with you on more than just like the base entertainment level?
I always liked the music in movies. Like I always was really into like the soundtracks of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold up. Speaking of soundtracks and movies, I have like the Pokemon, the first movie soundtrack, which is
Oh
actually
yes.
amazing. Like I still have this. I found the CD, and it's got all of these like this like an old Aaron Carter song, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really like Vitamin C
And M to
and
M. Yeah, I know exactly what you're
and
talking about.
there's a Britney song on there. And it was like when she was still doing like this sort of like deep voice before they like had her do the baby voice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, no, that soundtrack is dope. So like I I like all the and really corny, but I used to really be into Harry Potter. And I used to really be into fucking John Williams with that like with the soundtrack. Um, just because I like, I like the basic like movement sounds, classical music. Like when I was from like age 5, I think to age 17, I had a lot going on at 17. I was like, I need to quit, can't do this. Um, but
You said you were like playing classical music at that point?
yeah, I was playing piano, and so I was really
Mm.
into classical music, and like I was really into orchestra music and the strings, and I played violin for a little while. But I wasn't ever that great at it. But I loved orchestra and like how the orchestra sounds. So I was always really into like movie soundtracks for sure. So like
Yeah,
that's I remember a lot about sounds more than like the things that I've seen in movies.
yeah. I mean, like, same sometimes. Like, it's weird because I love them both, but like, but just like sound, but just like the way like sound and like the way sight and sound can kind of work together to like amplify that experience, especially through something like a
Oh
soundtrack.
yeah.
Like,
That's
and
just
like,
how I process information. I process information better with my ears. And so
mm,
like I really am into like even the sound design, like how things sound like when the certain like a door closes, the footsteps and like the levels between sound. I'm always complaining
yeah,
about the levels in movies too. Cause it's like there's one part is super quiet and then suddenly it's like blaring loud. Like anyway, but yeah, no, that's what I like. I also remember a lot of like visuals and stuff. I actually recently watched the new Space Jam because I was like, let's see what's going on.
how'd you like
um
it?
okay, well, the first when I watched it, the first time I watched it was with a wild variety of ages. So I watched it with like my 6-year-old nephew, like a 31-year-old friend of mine, my mom who's like 69, my and just like my brothers. So it's like it was just like a wide of ages. So now I was watching people's reactions, especially for the people who saw the original Space Jam. And like one guy was like, "Oh, like they're not doing the same things as the other ones," and blah 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 blah. And I was like, "This is not for your age. This is for the kids." So I'm watching my nephew. My nephew's 6, and like it's information overload. And the thing with it is, it does have a lot of references to like the old one, and so like, and he's asking me all sorts of questions because it doesn't make sense. And to him, like, why doesn't it make sense? So he's asking me all of these things. I'm like, this is Looney Tunes. Nothing is supposed to make sense. That's what I can tell you. You're just supposed to sit and watch. So that's like what I had to tell him with that.
Right.
Um, and so he was into it, and it was just like a lot of stuff going on. So it was very overwhelming. But then right after that, like another day, he was watching it again because he loves to rewatch a movie, obviously. But then after that, we like put on the first Space Jam, and he was like immediate, like whenever anything is too slow, he's like, I want to watch something else. I want to watch something. I'm like, this is a movie from the 90s. Things were slower then. You know what I'm saying? Like it is like the now like the movies just start off immediately,
Right. They hit
and
the ground
like
running for real.
flash bang da 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 like big intro, but then like even like old movie, like I was watching some movie from like the 50s. Hold on, like I love movies, but I wish I watched more of them, to be honest. There is What a Way to Go. What movie? What year was that? 1964. That's a funny movie. And it's like a lot of cool, like the music is cool in that, but in that one, it's like the costuming is the cool part about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like I get into the costuming of things. But mostly, yeah, like the sound design. So
Costume
I like
design.
to watch these. Costume design is cool, but I like sound design a lot, like and like the sort of sound effect and the sound effects that they use and stuff like that. Really into sound effects.
Right. Yeah. I also really love all that stuff, like with like the work on the foil stage and shit. Like people like breaking vegetables to like simulate like a neck snapping and like having to like
Right.
I yeah, nah, I love all that stuff too. It's like a whole like it's a whole cottage industry. It's really dope. I fuck with that.
Right. Period. Yeah, I've done some sound design, like, and that's like what my brother does. My brother like edits a bunch of, and he like does visual editing and does a lot of like audio visual things. So it's like all in the family. We all do this wild stuff. So I've done some like sound editing and like having to put certain sound effects in certain places. It's a lot of fun. So that's what I think about when I go to the movies. Like think about like what's being put where and like how they're doing certain things and what this is supposed to make me feel like, oh, this music is coming on now, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, having that perspective really just changes the way you watch movies. Like obviously you can still enjoy it as like somebody just watching to be entertained, but there's just something special to knowing like the creative process and just like it's just it like it can either make it richer or you just start noticing everything that's wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much it.
Like the Cats movie. Did you see the Cats movie
Oh, of
in
course I
theaters?
did. Yeah, nah. My father dragged my sister, their husband, and me to see that movie in theaters. That
That's
shit was
so funny.
I had such a good time, but that movie
Did you
was
see
awful.
did you see it like when it first came out before they like edited it and like
Oh
changed
no. I
because
saw it.
apparently they fixed it somehow.
Yeah, they because it was Judi Dench's real hand could be seen at
Yeah,
the
that
very
shit
end
was.
of the
I saw
movie.
that in theaters, and I was like, man, what the fuck is going on? It was just so. There were so many like mistakes, and I was just like, man, what? I missed Taylor Swift's part. I didn't even see that part. I fell asleep during Taylor Swift's part.
Oh, that might have been one of my least favorite parts of the whole movie. Like, cause like
Okay,
this,
good. I still haven't seen it to this day. Like, I haven't seen any clips or anything.
she just gives the cats a whole bunch of catnip, and they all get like really horny, and she like sings
Oh,
about like McCavity not being there, and like
great.
Idris Elba is McCap, like
So,
like
and
that
here's
movie.
the thing: I never actually fully saw the play, the actual musical. Like, I've seen bits of it where they had the recording. I didn't see it in person, and there's like a whole like lore around the Cats musical. And then so
Yeah.
everybody who's a fan of the Cats musical like doesn't necessarily like this is a bad movie, but it's also just like a really fucking strange story.
Yeah, and like yeah, because like it's based off a series of like short stories that like they don't ever like that was the jumping off point, but it tells its own thing that makes like it doesn't really make any sense. Like, and I don't think
Yeah,
it was like designed to make sense in the
right.
way that we like
And
typically think
I
that
can
like,
accept that for sure.
but like I remember my aunt, shout outs or depending on the side of my family, it's either aunt or aunt. Shout out to Aunt Jackie. My Aunt Jackie took my sister and I to go see Cats when we were younger, and we made it about 20 minutes in, and we all looked at each other. We were like, my sister and I were kids, and like the three of us were like looking back and forth at each other, and we were like, "You want to go?" And we were like, "Yeah, get us out of here." Like
Oh my god.
we didn't make it through the whole thing. I don't remember how long it was, but it felt like 20, 30 minutes. And we were like,
Wow.
nah, we're out. And
Wow.
I sat and watched the whole movie. And there's that whole scene where Rebel Wilson as the cat is walking through the kitchen, and then the little
The
cockroach people with the people faces. That shit was like that felt like drugs. I was not ready for that
I
shit. Like
was screaming. I was like, what the hell is going on?
and then she fucking like
No.
knocked them off the table, and they were fall. She ate a couple of them. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like,
I mean, that is what cats do, but yeah, nah.
jeez. Nah, that movie was a trip. I'm actually kind of happy I saw it in theaters because it felt like the first time I saw Rocky Horror in a movie theater. Except
Oh yeah.
except I was the only person laughing and screaming at it. Like everybody else was like super serious, and I'm just like, this is hysterical. Like, what am I watching
Right.
right now?
Right.
Like,
A movie that gave well, a movie that gave me opposite vibes was also like that. I saw Frozen on Broadway. That was like because I'd never watched the movie, and I was like, I'll go see it on Broadway. That sounds fun, and I had a good time. That was like a ball. That was great, and I was like, all right, let me try to give the movie a chance. I watched like 5 minutes of that shit, and I had to turn it off. I was like,
ew,
no way.
really?
Yeah, I couldn't. It was too white. It was all these people in the snow, and I was like, I'm cold. It was just
I
on the
feel it.
Broadway one, they had a lot of like there was like I think like the father was black, the love interest was like some black guy or something like that. They had just more people of color in the cast, and it was just it had the musical version, the Broadway version had more sauce. It was really fun. I had a good
Felt
time watching it. Um, but I was like, and then I turned on the movie, and I was like, I can't sit through this. I just like, it's not
it
giving me
ruined
what
it
I
for you.
need.
That's hilarious. How was
Yeah.
how is the Broadway version of what the fuck is the song Let It Go?
I mean, I had fun. I was like, okay, here goes the song. You know what I'm saying? Because I like
Yeah.
literally the only time I'd ever heard that song was from little kids singing it, like in the street and in Target and everything. And I heard it across streets. I wasn't like teaching any kids of that age who had seen it. I wasn't babysitting anybody. I had no kids that age in my house, so like that was the only time I heard that song was like in the street, and it was really bizarre. Like I heard it everywhere, but then the song like didn't hit me. But I liked the musical a lot. Like it was fun on stage. I had fun. Also it was like we went and there was like we were behind a bunch of classes. We were a bunch of like school kids and we had like the nosebleed seats. It was like me, my mom, my aunt in the
Mm,
back. And I mean, it was fun. Like it was cool, but it was just like it's just really cool to see like them experience it, and then they start screaming at the parts that they really know, and like they start like screaming the words to the song. And this is my first time seeing it, and I'm just like, wow, this is like part of the show. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that was cool. That was cool for my first time to see Frozen. Like I think that was more appropriate than going to watch the movie, just like on streaming, which was what I was trying to do. I was just like in my house, like by myself trying to watch Frozen. I was like, this is not it. I don't like this movie, you know. So
Honestly, I wish that was my first experience. I saw it in theaters and I thought it was really good. But
yeah,
it sounds like the show was a lot better.
it's a lot
And
more lively. Obviously, it's
yeah,
real people doing their
you
thing on stage.
you made it sound like it was a versus or something, talking about people were like screaming their parts and shit.
I get really I
Like,
love I love musicals. First of all, musicals are really fun for me. Don't ask me about
mm,
my favorite musical because I don't know. But
I
there's
won't.
one. Well, actually, there's one that I saw. Like my dad took me to see Passing Strange way back in the day.
Oh
Day.
wow, that's
Yeah,
a
that
deep
show
cut.
is really good. Yeah, that was off Broadway show. That show is really good. And then the thing was like my dad was just like my dad took me and the family to see Passing Strange, and it was really cool. I enjoyed it. That's like one of my favorite shows.
It's been too long since I've seen it. I don't remember anything about Passing Strange, but I remember like the name and being like, "What's that about?" Like that, like
Yeah.
it just kind of caught me in that way.
No, having seen it, I just remember having a lot of fun. And I remember there was like a part where it had like these huge lights on the stage. And I remember that being like too bright. That like it was a flash. It didn't happen for but it was just like it was so bright. And I remember that.
It's hilarious.
Oh my
Before
God,
we move on,
musicals.
there's one musical that I always wanted to see but never got to see was the Fela Kuti musical. I heard
Ah,
I
I
heard it
know.
was
I never saw
so
it.
good.
Yeah, my mom saw it. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, just like I love the idea because like I think like the whole theater was like decked out to be like a fancy restaurant or something, and like it was just like
Really?
them sing like it seemed like it was pretty ambitious, and I just love Fela Kuti, so I was looking forward to seeing it at some point, but it's just
My
not there
mom
anymore.
has photographs of Fela Kuti.
Wow,
Yeah,
like
no, she actually. I'm. I don't. I'm like. I'm wondering if like she's gonna have these images in her book. She has a book coming out with her images from Festac '77, which was like
Your
this
mom's a
huge.
photographer?
Yeah, we're all artists in
Mm,
my family, baby.
got you.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so that I remember we actually did a collaborative piece using an image of Fela, and it like using images that my mom took of Fela, and then I recolored them in like Illustrator,
Oh, that's cool.
and then my brother had it animated, and my dad was like helping putting the video editing together, and we had it printed. When you move around the piece, it's a lenticular print,
Yep.
and so like and there was like a lot of frames. I feel like there were like 16 frames. So when you move around it, like it really moves like a movie.
Whoa, that's
Yeah, no,
crazy.
it's really cool. So yeah, that was like a collaborative project like my family and I did.
That's so much fun. I love that.
Yeah.
So like while you were growing up, now that I know that like everyone in your family is some kind of artist, like when did music first come into your life? Because like like when I first met you, I knew you as like an artist who did pretty much everything. But like
It's
but
funny. It's
like
like depending on where you meet me, it's like you know me for something like a little different. You know, I used to be
yeah.
known as like the person who like played piano. You know what I'm saying? But like because I played piano from like 5 to 17. You know, that's 12 years of like playing the piano.
Yeah.
So, but then I was just like, it wasn't for me anymore. And my brother always thought I should make music. Like music has obviously always been a part of my life. You know, my family plays loud music. My mom has like a huge record vinyl collection in the house. So music has just always been, um, the part of life, and also seeing live music and stuff like that. Like I grew up seeing a lot of live music shows. Um, but yeah, and I was always like playing on the piano, but my brother always saw that I should like make my own music. He's like, you should make your own music, and it's just like, and he would try like for the longest. Like I remember he bought me Reason. I don't know if you've
Hmm.
ever seen the interface for Reason, like when you open the program.
Yeah, once.
It looks like an analog mixer, and then like me, I learned how to play piano and like how to read staff music. So I was like, well, fuck that. And so I just never learned how to use it. But he like was always trying to get me to like learn something else. But I
Hmm.
remember in high school we actually there was like a MIDI class that I took in high school, and we learned how to use some really old like Microsoft DAW, like Microsoft like audio workstation. It was called Cakewalk. Cakewalk. I remember this.
Hmm.
And so I learned how to like do MIDI stuff on that like in high school, and I thought that was cool. Um, I think I only started, making my own music for real in 2012. I'm saying my brother signed me and him up for like an Ableton class, like just 2 days, like on a weekend. Just to basically like, oh, this is how to press play, this is do this, do that, just like how to use the layout.
Right.
Um, and then I've just, been making stuff. And I started performing like 3 years later. I was like, I spent like 3 years like just trying to really figure shit out. And make something that sounded like real music and not just like ding 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 ding,
Right.
because then you got to get through that. You got to get through that moment. Um,
You know what's
and it
you
just,
know what's oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
it was nothing happening. I'll just ramble. So
um i'm I'm so happy you brought up the little tick 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 shit because I was
tink tink
be,
tink tink.
okay, you already knew where I was going with it. Great. Yeah, because
Sort of.
yeah, yesterday I saw this video on Ninth Wonder talking about like the difference between like people playing on drum pads and people playing pianos, and he
Right.
was
And
just he was
people
just talking
being
like
stuck up about
yeah
how
he
like, oh, you're not really playing the instrument. Nah.
and he was like going tink tink to tick tick on the keyboard is not playing no keys, and
Right.
everybody that's just like, and
Like
like
somebody
he's
came up with that sound.
yeah, like that C and that D was manufactured for like I just he was talking his shit, and it just felt so good to hear somebody really stand up for like sample based instrumentation in that way, because like fuck
Epic.
anybody who doesn't think that sampling's not instrument, fuck anybody
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't think that sample who one more time. Fuck anybody who doesn't think playing off a beat pad is instrumental, because like it
Period.
is. Like what the fuck?
Right.
Like rearranging old sounds is just as crazy as putting new ones together. Like
I
I don't
love it.
understand. Yeah, man, it's amazing. Like
Yeah, and that's a whole skill. Like that's for real. Like you playing the sound. Like what?
right, and yeah, and yeah, like that reaches from like dub and reggae all the way to rap. You know, like Lee Scratch
Mm,
Perry, who also just passed away. Like
right.
he was a pioneer of that shit. Like
Period.
he used to bury microphones in the ground to like get new sounds off of them, and then would like sample stuff from like he would like use found sounds. I don't know, man.
And that's incredible.
Like that shit is amazing. You know, like how is that not like how is that any less like musical than somebody just like playing a chord on a piano, you know, like and
Right.
like I say that as somebody who took piano lessons for a decade myself, like, you know, like I've been on that
Mm-hmm.
side too, so I get it. But
Right.
like
Yeah.
people, yeah, just don't be snobby about it. Like shut up.
Right. I don't know why anybody gotta be snobby about anything, especially in this day and age where like literally anything is possible and doable. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
we done accelerated the technology way too fast for anybody to be snobby about anything. Like
for real. Like it's just wasted energy at this point, you know.
right, literally.
Like so you mentioned that you and your brother took the Ableton class, and you kind of took 2 years to start, or excuse me, 3 years to really start like putting together stuff that you thought was coming out good. But you know, your first official release on Bandcamp is a single, and it was released on September 18th, 2017, which will be almost 4 years to the day of this
Let me
episode
go
being
look at
released,
that.
which is pretty crazy.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, because it came out the 18th, and I think this will be out on the 22nd, so pretty close to the day right there.
Serendipitous.
That's
Let me see, like, cause I was putting stuff on SoundCloud before that.
see,
Like literally, I was just like putting a couple things on SoundCloud, and then I don't know when it got to Bandcamp. I just like saw that Bandcamp was cool, and I was like, that I like the layout and stuff.
right.
Um,
So then yeah,
which is it?
let me
Oh
hmm?
yeah. Oh, I like that one. That was like I was definitely going through like a middle period with that one. Like I was just trying to
Yeah,
like figure out what my sound was. So I dropped like it was that one and Tell Me You Can. I was also doing like weird 3D stuff. Like I got these weird 3D covers
yeah,
on
I remember
those.
those.
Yeah. I gotta open up Blender again. That was just like me being ridiculous in Blender and trying to figure it out.
So like what inspired you to go from just like making the music for yourself to being like, you know what, I want other people to hear this? Why was it finally time? What whether we're talking about Bandcamp or SoundCloud, like what,
Yeah.
yeah, what was that?
Well, I was going to shows, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really go to shows growing up. Like I didn't go to I didn't go to like parties and things. I went to a lot of like I saw Sweet Honey in the Rock at Carnegie Hall as a kid, you know what I'm saying? So
Oh
like
wow.
that was cool. I've seen a lot of like cool like concerts and stuff, but like in terms of like little DIY shows and stuff like that, like I only started doing that like when I was at Purchase. And, first of all, I was like, oh, everybody's putting together a show, and it was kind of like new to me. Just like people that I know putting together shows. Um, and that was cool to like go to see a band of people that playing music, and it just and I still like at Purchase I didn't make any music like while I was there. I didn't have the time. I was like, because
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I wasn't in the music department, so that wasn't like I didn't have any like extra time or anything, or like also my laptop I don't think had the space for it. I was like, I gotta get out and do this. But yeah, no, so it was like then after college, I was just like going to the shows that my friends were putting on, and everybody was in Bushwick and stuff. And I'm just seeing like people doing all types of really weird, different acts. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mm-hmm.
I was, making music, and I was around a bunch of like weird people making weird music and doing cool stuff. So I was like, I can do this. This is, I'm amongst people that I know and whatever, and I'm just that are putting on shows. I'm gonna get in and like do my own thing because I've been making music and I'm proud of it. You know what I'm saying? And I I really had to learn how to use my voice anyway. Because it was just, and that's the only way. That's the only way to get better, is to keep keep doing it, keep
Yeah, keep doing
performing.
it for sure.
So I was like, I just wanted to learn how to use it. I'm still learning, still practicing, but you know.
When so like after purchase and after like all the art you had done, when like you just mentioned like having to learn how to like use your voice, like when did you first really feel comfortable kind of like leaning into your voice as like a wow, like I could actually do this shit if I wanted to?
Oh my God, it was so hard because number one, I didn't grow up singing at all. Like I didn't grow. I actually like didn't even speak. When I was a kid, when I was a really small kid, I didn't talk really. Like I was just like I didn't speak, and then like my parents and family members like got me speaking toy, like talking toys. Like I had a phone that talked, I guess, to like stimulate me to talk, and I was just like, so I was like I didn't use my voice unless I had to really. I never really liked to be like yelling and doing all those sorts of stuff. And I never like I wasn't in church either. A lot of people
Right.
learn through church and like they get that like that loud projection through church. Like I was never in that. So I didn't really grow up. There were instances where like I would sing a little bit. Like I would try to like be a understudy for like the musical or something. Cause I was like, oh, I realize I can like kind of sing, but it's just like I never really did it for real, for real. So like when I actually like, but I talk real loud, you know what I'm saying? I have a really
Uh-huh.
loud, loud, like piercing voice. And so people always tell me, oh, do you sing? You should learn how to sing, or blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, I don't know how to do that. But at some point you learn it's a muscle, like it's like a bunch of muscles, and it just takes a lot of training, and just knowing what sound you have to be on. And I'm still like I still don't know what the fuck's going on. Like professionals amaze me, like professional singers and professional musicians fucking amaze me. They like are really like tapped in. um but I'm definitely like a tink tink to tink tink type artist. But I make it happen. So I'm just learning how to like how to really express myself. That's really what it is. And like I've just it's like it's exercise for my chest. Like the only exercise I get is just like talking talking loud, and now I'm just
Right, right.
learning how to use it and use my vocal cords and my lungs in different ways. um so it's cool. Learning how to rap was hard, actually. Like learning how to rap was hard, like harder on the lungs. I was like, I gotta keep talking like real
Yeah.
fast and like make it sound like not like I'm screaming. Like but I think that definitely helped, like with the it helped me sing actually. So I'm still figuring that out.
Right. It makes complete sense to me, like like I grew up singing and I tried to rap and and like I could rap sometimes, but like not
Right.
really like nothing too nothing too crazy. Like it's
Right.
just um like vocal stuff is a lot harder than I think people want to say it is. Like just like being able to project and not like it's all about like finding that balance and like
Yeah.
and like what works for you, because like what works for you isn't going to work for the other person.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I
And
think
like
the best advice I actually got with like sort of vocal training or anything was from Mitski. And she was like, what did
mm,
she say? She said, just be comfortable and don't hurt yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally, just don't hurt yourself.
yeah.
Because that's what happens a lot with vocalists. Like, they really like fuck themselves up.
Yeah, they strain their voices. Yeah. No, that's a fact.
And I'm reading into it because I didn't grow up singing, so I was like finding out
Right.
about a lot about this like very recently. I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, obviously because it's a part of your body. They, it's like athletes can fuck themselves up. It's like the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like wherever she is, shout out to Mitski. I have no idea where she went, but
Yeah,
like she's
I hope she's well. Like I
yeah,
was
same
like,
here.
get off the internet because this internet shit is crazy. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
bro. I
saying?
I get it, but like yeah, like wherever she is, like another purchase alum. Shout out to
Shout out
Mitski.
purchase.
um. So like this is your base more or less, right? And
Mhm.
because and like off of all of this, there are like a handful of projects and some of the songs that were on your Bandcamp that I wanted to touch on super quick.
Shoot.
And the first one that came up to me was Y'all Can't Sample Beyonce, because I just I love the idea of like this project just like based around Beyonce samples, you know.
Yeah.
So like where did that idea come from, and like why Beyonce? I mean, it feels like a stupid question to ask, but why Beyonce? You know, like
Like, let me just click. Oh, here go my internet because it ain't clicking through. Okay, I put it up here in 2017, but I think that's inaccurate because I definitely put it up on, because whenever she dropped that self-titled album, I got really excited about it because I wasn't like, obviously I knew who Beyonce was, and I knew all of her songs, I knew all the Destiny's Child songs I on the radio and stuff like that, but I wasn't like part of the Beehive like in any capacity. I just
right,
assumed that I would know everything because I'm online, you know, like so everybody else is posting stuff. And so I was like, and I was on Tumblr or some shit, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, like, it's like new Beyonce stuff. And I was like, what? There's this new songs I didn't hear about. And all of a sudden, it's a new albums. I was like really excited by the fact that an artist as big as her could drop a surprise album. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a huge deal. And because the shit was getting leaked left and right all the time. So I just
mm-hmm.
remember being so excited by that project. And you know, when you go and you hear like DJs play Beyonce song or something, or you hear like somebody like sample Beyonce a little bit, and it's just like, I was always just thinking like, I just feel like this could go harder, you know what I'm saying? Or just like this, you could like really chop it up and get really crazy. So that's what I did. I want to redo it, to be honest, because like listening back to that now, it doesn't even get as crazy as I could have got, you know. But that was basically the hold on, this is rubbing against my shirt. I was like, that was basically the thinking behind that project. I was just like, y'all can't sample Beyonce, y'all not doing it. Let me just, you know, try my hand. Let me do it a little bit and like make something completely new, but like obviously use these like Beyonce samples.
right.
I definitely want to do it again. Like I want to redo that
Y-
project.
yeah, either redo it or just like make a volume 2 or something,
That's
because
that's
like
what I
that's
mean.
yeah,
That's what I
like
mean. Like
that yeah, like the Beyonce self-titled. I feel like the Beehive started with the Beyonce self. Like I mean, like obviously she was already a huge star at that point.
I knew a friend who was in the Beyonce. Like she was like the number one Beyonce fan that I knew. Like every time we go to her house, she would whip out like the Beyonce Experience DVD. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? And this was way before her self-titled. So she was tuned in, and like people who were fans of her really saw like the crazy shit that she was doing on stage, you know, just giving that like Tina Turner extra ass energy.
right.
Um but like
Nah.
you know, I was just like, oh, here go, you know, my friend putting on Beyonce again. You know, like I saw it and it was really cool. But like it got like it took it to another level with the self-titled thing because like it surprised, I think it like a surprise a lot of people, you know, into being more fans of
Right.
her.
And then on top of that, like internet fandom was starting to kind of like take on the form that it's taken on today
Yeah,
with like
that
stan
was like
culture and
That
shit.
was Tumblr in its heyday. That was like Tumblr at
Right.
its like height too at that time.
Right. And yeah, like Twitter was slowly but surely starting to come into the conversation and shit. Like it was like, you know, like obviously like it didn't start. Like I don't really know if saying like that like the self-titled started the Beehive, but I think it like helped to mobilize them and like
It
organize them.
amplified them
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah,
Dropping a
definitely.
whole, you know, album of videos with you know,
Yeah,
video for every song. That's crazy. At the
yeah,
time, it was like, damn, what the fuck? Like, like,
yeah, and yeah. Like you were saying, like the biggest pop, you know, or like one of the biggest pop acts in the world, just dropping a surprise album. Like like she wasn't the first to do that, but she was,
right?
but she
No, yeah,
definitely
but
popularized it for this era. Like,
for being like so like as large of an artist as she is, and for like the real Beehive people, they knew something was coming. Like they knew like she was filming in places, but they didn't know when it was coming. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And like at before that, like the whole thing with like big artists had to go and like go through Target and stuff like that and drop like physical CDs, stream. I think that was kind of like, unheard of for that, level of artist who's so deep in the industry.
Right. And yeah, like that's crazy you bring that up. The Target deluxe edition of an album used to be like it wasn't like a rite of passage, but it was like a standard for
That's
for
what
like
you
a
did.
certain
That was
caliber
like
of artist.
that
Yeah.
was like a partnership that like artists had, and Target
Right.
was like mad at her for that, actually. Like, the business, which is like,
Right.
oh, we're
Right.
not going we're not going to sell the Beyonce album in our stores. And it was a whole thing. I was like, it was so fun. I was very online like then. Like, I feel like online in a different way. Like, I feel like I was definitely like, I'm still like hyper online, and I would like to less be, but like definitely at that time I was like checking out like everything coming up on screen. That was like before it was like, wait a minute, I shouldn't be online all the time. It was like I was just like searching all of this shit.
It was more innocent back then, for sure. Like not to say that it wasn't as like dangerous and wild, but like it was still pretty comparatively. The internet
I
in
get well.
2013 was like,
I think I just had less responsibilities.
yeah.
2013.
Let me take that back. Let me take that back. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Right.
You're right. You're right. Let me take that
Yeah.
back.
Right.
So everybody listening, go listen to Y'all Can't Sample Beyonce, because I just think the idea is great. Like it's just so much fun. It's like 15 minutes.
It was a lot of
It's
fun.
like it sounds like you had a great time making it, Like
Somebody said it's like a workout EP. It's definitely like a workout playlist sort of
yeah,
vibe.
definitely. Yeah, like that, yeah, like some sort of like active, like you're like out and walking around type shit. Yeah, nah, it's
Right.
definitely that. Um, another thing I want to talk about real quick is Dear Diary. Like,
True.
talk to me about putting Dear Diary together, and like where your head was at that time.
When you first start out, it's kind of just like, oh, like I did this thing. I made this like these little songs. I made this little mashup. But that was like one of the first times where I was like, no, I'm writing songs. I'm producing like for real. Um, and with that, I was just like, I'm emo. I was like come straight from like the emo emo tribe. Um, so I'm like really like I get really in my head. I'm always like thinking about my feelings and stuff. And like it starts off with like I wish I wasn't sad and weepy. Like I'm very Evanescence vibe, you know what I'm saying? I'm a child of Evanescence for sure. Um and then it gets angry because it's like after I get sad and after I get over to like the sad shit, I get like really defiant, and it's like, nah, how you gonna talk to me that way? So that's kind of like the like the plot of that. Not even the plot of that's just like how the song moves. It starts off with like just me being like in bed and just like not like just like feeling down on myself, like, oh, why am I this way, why am I that way? And then like halfway through it's like, nah, why are you looking at me like that, why are you thinking of me that way? No, I am, you don't listen to me when I'm saying the truth and all this that and the third, because that's real shit that I be going through.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, it definitely felt like a breakout moment in that way, where you just kind of like confiding in yourself in a way you hadn't before. And I remember it really struck me when I first heard it, and I was like, "Damn! Like you arrived!" Like, like it was pretty wild to see that kind of happen. Not necessarily in real time, but just to like hear
Yeah.
it and be like, "Damn! Like this is kind of
That's
crazy."
definitely a moment. Like, I love that song, and I haven't even really performed it recently. It was, like, performed at like, this warehouse, um, like venue, and whoever the sound engineer was that night was like getting jiggy on the effects and shit, and so it was like reverbing and stuff, and I was like, okay, like, and so it definitely lent itself to have like a lot of space. Like, my music definitely had like a lot of thinking space at that time. And now I'm bringing that a little bit back because there was like I just had to get like a lot of manic energy out, and it's just
Right.
and I did, always had like the slow thinking songs, but I was like was putting a lot of my focus into like the stuff for the crowd and the stuff that I was making in like 2015, 2000, well, even before that, like it was very because I was making it in my room and only playing it for myself. So I was making all these like slow, sad, like thinking songs, you know. So I mean, obviously, I'm back on that shit now because we've been in the house. Like,
Right.
um, yeah. So it's just different times, different thoughts for different times.
Right. And speaking of the exact opposite, like you were talking about, like a song for the crowd, like pop shit is a song for the crowd. Like
Ah,
that's like I love that song. Like I
literally, when I made that, I was like, I need a banger. Like I was just like doing all this stuff, like just making these songs. I was just like, I need a banger because like the one of the last bangers I had was just like the song Engine, and I was
hmm
just like, I'm tired of that being like my only banger, I was just like, I need something else.
Yeah.
I need some, I just need some more like hype shit. And I was just like definitely in the mood. I was like literally just like in the house, like I just need something to like hype me up over the summer. Like summer 2020 was like really hectic, and I really just needed to pick
Yeah.
my energy up. That's why I made that.
Yeah. And you're like you brought in someone, Jersey's finest, Cakes the Killer, to come on
Jersey's
and do it.
finest.
Like
I
shout
was
out.
so happy. Shout out to Case because he didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like only send me some shit that's like hot. Like don't send me it if it's not hot. And I was like, I got something that's hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just had it, and I went and like I sent it, and he was like, "Hi, I got you." Like, a just very quick turnaround. I just need like a quick like like 8 bars, just like so, just like a flash, because that's what it needed. It's just like it needed like that hot flash, and man, Case is so amazing for that.
Yeah, like y'all just sounded so great together, and just like the beat is like the whole song just feels really cathartic from like what it's about, like lyrically, to just like how like metallic and like club ready it sounds. Like that sounds like that
That shit
like
was like literally to like lift myself up. I was like, yo, like, because people will always want to try you and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, nah.
right.
Hold
No,
on.
of course. Like yeah, like everybody wanted to try you and you came out and we're like, nah, fuck you. Like listen to
Yeah, I mean
this.
that's just
Like,
life. You know what I'm saying?
you know,
Um,
you told people to go get their life. Like go get your life on the dance floor and don't worry about me. Leave me the fuck
period.
alone.
Do whatever
Like
you need to do. Like, you know, don't apologize for your shit. Just do what you need to do. I know you want to do it. Like, I know you want to pop it off. Let's go. Um, like do that shit that's on your mind. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Gotta
And
get going. Gotta get a move on.
yeah, you yeah, like you really caught a crazy flow too. Like just like I remember the first time I really let that beat like sit in my head and just like heard the way you were hitting pockets, and I was like, this is just it was just it was a vibe. Honestly, I don't even know what
I
else
don't
to
know what
say.
happened
Like
with that one. That one was really fun. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
just like I don't. When you make the shit just happens. Sometimes.
yeah,
I love that vibe. Also, like if you're ever making stuff with like another person and it just like stuff starts happening, you're like, oh shit! It just
yeah, right. Like when things just start to stack on top of each other like that, like it's just and it just
yeah.
works like indescribable.
When your brain just starts connecting shit. You know what I'm
Uh
saying?
huh.
The
Like
synapses just firing mad fast.
you already know. And the last one I want to touch on real quick is the one that you just dropped. Like, not, I don't even know how long it's been. It hasn't been that long, but leave me alone.
Probably like a year now.
Oh, really? Leave me
Well,
alone has
no,
been a,
hold on. No, when did I put it out? I don't know. I don't even know at this point. Like I just put it. I have all of this stuff that I'm just like listening to it. And the whole reason I did the residency, I was like, I need to play these songs out because I finished it up like in the house, and I just want to hear what it sounds like and at people and in front of people. So like, yeah, I've just been like sitting on it, literally just like listening to it over and over again because I'm obsessed with listening to my own listening to my own stuff. But and just like really, really sitting with it and living with it. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So I really like understand what I'm doing with it and what I'm saying with it. I'm really happy with it because I was like, I just need something like smooth and like jazzy real quick. Like I just need because I was doing all these like I was like, okay, like I've been doing like the banger thing. That was cute. But like I was just like, let me just like bring it back, just think about like what I really feel like because like I'm very laid back. I'm very like
Yeah.
I'm very low key and I really want my sound to reflect who I am, fully. So I'm definitely exploring a lot of that and leave me alone. So I put out 2 of the songs so far.
Right.
And I'm holding on. I performed all of them live. So if anybody who saw me live, oh, I'm gonna be performing live soon too. So I'll be doing it live. So I love to get the audience reaction first to the music
Yeah.
before
Always.
before I have people sit with it, by themselves in their houses and their ear headphones and stuff. Like I just want to see people's faces and how they react to certain things, and like maybe like if I want to see their faces do something else at a certain point, I'll like add something there. You know what I'm saying? So
So it's like Kanye, but like this music's actually done.
yeah,
Like
literally, like I haven't even really touched it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I just have it and I love it. And I'm also just like working on where my head is at now because all of this stuff is like where my head was at, like 2 years ago. Um,
Right.
and so I really want to just get settled with, my psyche and my mind and just like sort of have like some surrounding, thoughts that would influence, that, I just want to have like a wide, like wide like breadth of thoughts around around my work.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah. So
I got so used to doing things really fast, you know what I'm saying, and just like
yeah.
putting things out on like all of the time, and I just get like that's not how my brain works all the time. So I just like need to roll it back, and just like
Right.
really observe what I'm doing and really think about what I'm doing.
Right. And you took that time and you kind of like what yeah, like when you first reached out to me about the residency you did, it was just cool that you kind of took that time to kind of just like marinate in those songs. So like talk to me about like that residency and kind of how it like affected your relationship with the music you were playing, and like if you got like like what reaction did you get from the audience playing like unreleased joints that you either expected or didn't expect, and just like how did the overall experience kind of like inform the way you make music, if that makes sense, if it even like affected it in that way.
I love performing live. It's like a whole different set of muscles for that as opposed to just me, running around the house practicing it. It's different when there's people in front of you because I think my heart rate goes up because I'm looking at people and I'm like standing on the stage, looking, it's just literally the physicality of it is a lot different. I really enjoy, hearing my voice on the microphone and just like hearing the sound around me. That's cool too. I love doing it live. Like I like doing it. I want to do it more. And just learning how to do it. It's something that that I'm not it's not something that I've been doing my whole life. So it's still
Mm-hmm.
something I'm kind of new at and learning how to do, and that's really exciting. You know what I'm saying?
Right. How was
Yeah.
how has performing live affected the way you make music? Has it at all? Like
Ooh, yeah, no, for sure it has because like I have to take into account like how much breath I can fit in certain phrases.
right.
That's a big one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then just like sometimes people's reactions to stuff because I'll be cracking jokes and whatever. And so just to see if people will laugh at something or see if they will hear a certain vocal, you know what I'm saying? I take into account like what might not come across clearly because I really like my lyrics to sort of be clear. I want people to hear what I'm saying. Um, so like that's something I really think about. Because that was something that was definitely very different about performing, just making music and performing it on stage. I was just like, oh my, I have to learn how to project physically. I have to like literally do, and just like if I get distracted by somebody doing whatever, it's an audience full of people. If I get distracted making slow music for myself mostly, and like fun stuff. But then like where I realized like people really want to like get their blood flowing a lot of the time and like get moving. So I was like, okay, yeah, I need to do that too. Like I need to get the energy flowing in my body because I'll be like real laid back. And I was like, no, I still have like energy to release and like it's a great way for me to do that. Like I just get on stage, I just like start yelling. That's great. Let me get a mic and start yelling. So cathartic.
And then, you know, like that takes you somewhere to like the art installation you did where your face was all over Times Square billboards, which like,
Oh my
wow,
God.
like talk like I don't think I know the story behind that. So like talk to me about how that happened and like what that was a part of and how it felt to be performing in the middle of like the most famous intersection on planet Earth with your fucking face on the billboards. Cause like,
Yeah, that shit
wow.
was lit. I was like, I didn't even realize like how big of an experience that was really going to be for real until I was like in the middle of it and then like looking up and I was like, wow. But shout out to Times Square Arts. That's like something that's been going on for years, and I didn't really know that. A few artists that I'm friends with had their work up at this Times Square Midnight Moment. And that's kind of how I found out about it. I was like, wow, that's cool. You know, seeing a couple of people like with their art all over the screens, and then like I submitted my work. They were like, you should do one too. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you're right. I should do one. And so I submitted my work and, you know, the committee loved it, you know, and I was like, that's cool. So the Midnight Moment is the largest and longest running billboard exhibition in the world. I didn't know that until I did this. And so it's been really cool. That was a great experience. And like I was like, and then I was dropping music at the same time, and I kind of just
Mm-hmm.
brought it together, and I just like, you know, it just and I was like, I'm just gonna make it into this like one event. I was like, can I do I just like emailed them. I was like, wait, let's do a release show. And they were like, yeah. And so they got the speakers and stuff. And like had my friends and my family come out and like the tourists and stuff were just like, the tourists loved it. And also, it was like during a really cold month. It was during April of 2019, but it was
Right.
really cold. It was really cold that entire month. It was like freezing cold.
Yeah, that yeah, like that like spring to summer was like really, really crazy in 2019.
Yeah. So I was just like, I literally had like my little my little clothes on and like just trying to keep warm out there. But yeah, no, it was really fun. It was really like I don't even know how to explain it. I was just like awestruck. I was like, wow, I love seeing my work big also. Like I just love that. I've seen my work big a few times. I love it every time. I love, you know, big lights. I love squares. And like literally, I was just so excited. Like I just never I would have never thought to be a part of that, you know, just that's something I never thought about like before. It was so much fun, obviously. Like I'm still awestruck by it. And I was like, of course, I have to get documentation. I have to do a video. So I did a music video. I had my friend Sunny come and like film literally like they came out 3 of those really freezing cold days. Like every like midnight we go out there and it was like so fucking cold. It was freezing cold and Times Square at midnight is very hectic. It was hectic
Mm-hmm.
like every time. Like like I think people know that. And so like we were, you know, running through the fucking like the Forever 21 that's open late and you know, it was really cool. We only and all through all of that we only had like 2 minutes and like 30 seconds really because that's how long the
Wow.
yeah, that's how long it was up on the screen.
Wow. So it was really only 2.5 minutes. I didn't realize it was that short.
Yeah, it was every night of April 2019. So it was like literally 2 minutes and 30 seconds like every night. And it was like and it was at midnight. So I was like, I didn't know about it because I've never been in Times Square at midnight. Like I've never been there at the exact 2 minutes and like whatever 30 seconds that I would have had to see that. Because like had I been, I would have seen that. That's cool.
Right.
Um, because
It's,
like literally it's like a bunch of the screens light up to be the same thing. That's
mm-hmm.
awesome. And like when mine was like all purple and pink in the streets, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Um, so I was like, yeah, I definitely have to get documentation of it. Let's get a video going. I had the song. I was like, yeah, I'm ready for it. Um, looked cute. That's when my hair was short. I was like, let me see how long I can grow my hair out. I miss the short hair. It's okay. But yeah, that was really nuts. I'm really happy that they liked my work.
Yeah, you know, like it's like I can't even imagine what it must be like to look at a Times Square billboard and just like see your face. That sounds like it would be like both
I couldn't
good
put
and bad
anything up
kinds of
there.
overwhelming.
Yeah, I think the I couldn't put like logos. I couldn't put logos or text or something like that. I think those were like my only really parameters, and it had to be obviously like safe for like all ages and shit like that.
Right,
It's in a
you know.
public space. So I was just like, I'm gonna put a selfie as I'm going to do because I want to see my face
Yeah,
in
why
Times
not?
Square.
It's cool to be
Period.
vain sometimes. Like, fuck it.
All the time. Like I definitely like y'all gonna know like I made this, blah blah blah. Y'all gonna know who made it. Um, just I was just really excited by it. And also because it's like a lot of the things that I do are like I do a lot of text work. So like I can't do that. I guess I'll just make this my face. Like a lot of my work has text in it. So I was like, I can't use
Right.
text for this project. I'm just gonna use my face because that's my other calling card. Like I was like, okay, my logo, I can't use that. The text of my name, I can't use that. I guess I'll just put my face on it. And it was just something that I had been doing anyway. It was
Right.
like just I was doing these digital paintings, and it's like a really like it's sort of like tedious, but it's really cathartic too to just like put these like ink spots down, these digital ink spots and create an image. Um, so yeah, and that I was just really excited to see it like really gigantic on the screen. That was really cool. It just sort of also spoke to just sort of how the yeah, sorry. It just spoke to like just being overwhelmed and stuff, especially like in a place like Times Square and having the sensory overload and the like animations and like static that I had going on in the background of it is just sort of the thing. That's how I sort of visualize like my thought process when it was like overwhelmed or like overstimulated. Um and so like I that's and I'm trying to figure out like where the other part was going. It's like being in this box and also like the waves. Some of my work is like it's more breathing, but those for the Times Square thing, for the Times Square exhibit, it was like not breathy at all. It was like really like staticky, and it was like very it was like um my interpretation of my work, obviously. Like I don't know, but yeah, that was the whole like animation behind it. So it was like, yeah, here's my face, but like this is also what's going on like in the back of my mind.
Right. Like one of the things that really struck, like outside of the fact that, you know, I saw my homie's face on fucking billboards, like one of the things I love about this is that it's like a culmination of all the different types of art you do, right? Like
Yeah.
between like the visual stuff and your music and just like how
I was like, I'm
the
gonna let them
themes,
know I'm doing it all, baby.
right? Just like how the themes across all of them just kind of like intersect. And I guess, you know, just like I was just wondering like like how how does all the different, or actually no, let me rephrase that. Does all the types of art that you make inform each other? I asked that in such a stupid way, but
No,
like,
everybody asked that, and it's like, yeah, but it's because like it's all coming from the same place. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Everything that I make, it's like it's all the same kind of stuff. Just because it's like that's what's in my head. I'm not necessarily like joining it up on purpose, but it's like it's just all it's all part of the same thing going on, and I'm just releasing energy in different forms. Cause like I was in a funky mood all week, and I was trying to like make music, and I was just making these trash beats, and I was like, man, maybe I need to do something else. So I was like, maybe I'll do some drawing. I just had to like get that energy out in a different way.
yeah. And like it's great to have those different kinds of outlets, you know? Like that's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's honestly a skill to be able to like transfer that energy into multiple different kinds of art.
yeah.
Cause like doing one kind of art is hard enough as it is, you know? So like,
That's for. I just want to like try a lot of different things. And sometimes certain things just feel better than the others. Like sometimes I feel like singing, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like making beats, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I can't. And or I'm procrastinating on something else. Like if I have to do some audio work, I'm gonna like do some visual stuff to like procrastinate on that.
Right.
And then I'll use it for another project though. So it kind of just feeds into the next thing.
So it's just art being made to run away from other art.
Right, period.
That's kind of fire, honestly. Like, like like even when you're not being productive, you're still being productive.
In a way, sometimes. Sometimes, you
Yeah.
know. I definitely had to just like do it for my health mostly.
Right. Yeah, of course. Like you don't want to push yourself too hard, and like we already deal with all these pressure with all this pressure to like be super productive all the time, and like we
Yeah.
don't have to, but we think we do. So
Yeah. And I was just trying to play like a level of Crash Bandicoot, and it was not happening. That shit is hard. I can't multitask that. Maybe if I had a Mario Kart. My
right.
router. Can't do shit with this router. This shit is so disappointing.
Nah, you're about to go run up in Best Buy and go get you a new router, and
Hey,
you'll be
this shit
fucking.
do not work. I told them I'll be back if it don't work. They say you can return it within 15 days. I was like, if I have to, I'll be back. Like
See,
real life.
fucking let them have it. Honestly,
Right. No, it's not their fault, obviously. I'm
nah,
gonna
yeah,
have to
yeah,
call up Google or whatever. It's like a Google Nest thing.
yeah.
Whatever. It don't work.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
um,
And like wrapping up here, the one thing, or not the one thing, but like one of the things that I love about, I mean, like all your art, but like your music specifically is that like most of this is like just you, and it's just you pumping all these sounds and all these ideas from your bedroom, like like that's like you're not the first person to do that. Like it's a lot
yeah.
of it's a lot of
And
people
honestly,
doing
I
that,
set
but
up
like
a studio space next to my room. So like this past
mm,
year, I've been like standing up and doing stuff. So like definitely like it sounds different and it definitely sounds like louder. It's so funny to like hear the difference. Right now, like I've just recently brought shit back into my bed. Like I literally have my like audio interface and like my mic sitting here because I was like,
mm-hmm.
I need to get back. I was tired of sitting at my desk. Fuck the desk, and I'm getting back into bed. So that you're gonna hear a lot more slow jams and shit.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So like even considering that like small evolution from bed to the room next door, like just
Hmm.
kind of like making music, just kind of like making music in your own space. Like
Yeah.
I love that aspect of your music, and it really just speaks to like your artistic vision that you're able to pull all this together. So like considering where you started making your music around 2015 to about 6 years later, you kind of like you made a bit more of a name for yourself. You're out and doing shows and all this other shit. Like,
I started performing in 2015. That's when I was like, ooh, maybe I can like show it to people and not be like embarrassed. So
yeah,
yeah, I started making it in 2012. Like, and
right,
I,
yeah. Right. We just talked about that. Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant I meant that you started showcasing it totally. I'm
yeah.
I'm
No,
I'm
it's
an
all
asshole.
good.
My fault.
No, it's not your fault. I
But
just want to get it
you
right for your audio. You know what I'm
no, of course,
saying?
I want to make sure I get it right too. But yeah, like
Right.
so like you've been going at this for about a decade at this point.
Yeah.
And like looking back on where you first started and like not even having the confidence to be able to like perform the stuff, like how do you feel you've progressed as an artist over the course of the last 9-10 years?
I mean, I'm definitely more confident. I'm definitely like more physically, able just because I've been trained that muscle a little bit. I'm still not, I would like to take lessons. That's my next thing. But it's like my voice has gotten so much stronger and just like this, my comprehension of just sort of rhythms and just exploring new rhythms and new sounds. I get really into like still I'm like I get really into like making one synth sound. I can just like spend too much time just trying to figure out this one sound sometimes. But I've definitely like I know like how to hear better now. It's really interesting just because I was just listening to things differently. But for sure it's like now it's I don't know, it's especially like when I first started, I was struggling to figure out how I was going to do sort of everything, like how I'm going to do the art, visual art and the music and like how I'm going to do all of these things, and it's coming together as it's coming together, which is cool.
Yeah, like you're really, yeah, like you're really just like a one person operation, just like putting all this stuff together. And it's
I would like to join up with somebody someday. We'll see. I mean, like I do stuff with my friends occasionally.
yeah.
And like we jam out, but it's like, yeah, I'm like definitely I'd be up in the house just like doing all of these like little things. Like just sort of like piecing together little puzzles. That's what it's like, really.
Yeah.
I'm a puzzler. I love puzzles. So that's kind of just what this is.
Right. Yeah. And like you need to be a little bit of self-sufficient to be able to like do well at puzzles anyway. And
Yeah.
like you've already proven that you can do that. And it's just like
Hey.
it's just been super dope to see you grow, even like whether it's been a decade or 5 years or whatever the fuck, like you, like seeing where you ended up and like the music you've made and the people you've touched and all this other shit. It's just like, damn, like
I'm
you
really
really
proud
did
of
that.
myself. I'm like,
Like,
wow, look, I can make music. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm so amazed every day at every breath I take. You know, just like every time I
right.
can like learn how to do something new, it's just like, wow, that's cool.
And like the fact that you even still have that is super dope too, because a lot of people lose that, just like that sense of
Yeah.
curiosity and like wonder, and like
Yeah.
not even in like a naive way, just in like a wow, I'm
Yeah.
excited to be making art type of way,
Yeah.
you know?
I'd be so excited to just get that energy off me. That's a lot of it. It's just I just need to get a lot of shit off my chest. I started
Mm.
making music to just to like complain, and people got to listen to me complain because they feel like, 'cause, like they'll listen if you put a complaint to a beat. They will listen to that.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay, y'all like that? I got more. Mm.
I got more complaints. There's more issues,
Right,
like
right.
type shit.
People always on my nerves. I'm on my nerves. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. But nah, like it's just been incredible to see you just like get more and more of a grasp on your voice. And I'm just, like I don't
you
have any more.
too.
Yeah, like
Same to you.
thank you. Like,
Right.
yeah. I feel like we've both grown so much. Like like I think us as seniors would be looking at us right now, like almost 10 years out of college, like being like, damn, like we really went there with it. Like, damn, son.
Honestly, I didn't
Like,
know what the fuck I was going to do when I was like, dang, now what? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so this is cool. You know, it's working out how it works out.
yeah. I can't put that shit better myself. I don't have any more questions. This was fucking
Cool.
tight. Yo,
Yeah, this is
wow.
awesome. I'm
Oh,
sorry
thank
for
you.
everything it kept cutting off, but you
Nah,
know,
it's all good,
I'm very,
It just cut out again. That's so funny.
damn. Come
Yeah, just as
on.
you were, nah, but no, like it's really all good. Like, like like we're gonna make it work the way we can make it work. And I really just appreciate you taking almost 2 hours of your day to just like bullshit with me, you know?
I love it. I love it. Honestly, this is what I needed. This is definitely what I needed in my week. I've been having a crazy come down from a crazy August.
Mm.
So I definitely needed this. So thank you so much for giving your
No,
time.
of course. Like,
Right?
thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.